See the Bet Rivers app or website for more details. We'll get to the Buckeyes lost to Indiana and what's ahead for them. But we begin with the Browns and the performance by Shedeur Sanders. I've already talked about it a lot, Dustin, so why don't we start with you? What'd you think of his performance against the Titans?
I thought it was really good. That was really good. I thought the fact that they fell behind and, they had to throw. I mean, he wasn't perfect in the game, but, I mean, for sure his best performance thus far. Now, look, he wasn't going up against, the Patriots here or, some really good team like Buffalo or you name a good team right now. But still, he gave him a chance to win the game. They come back and still I don't understand why you take your quarterback who's having a monster game off the field for the 2-point conversion, but
nuts.
Nonetheless, I thought it was a good performance. It definitely warrants me saying I want to see more, and I think it warrants them to put maybe a little bit more on his plate, as we finish up the season, because I don't know about you. I mean, I watched that game on Saturday night and I'm not sold in Fernando Mendoza.
No,
as the top quarterback, the guy that's going to save the franchise. I think he's a good player, but that was the first really, really good defense he played against. Maybe the second, as Penn State was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I guess I want to see some more from Mendoza as the playoff goes on, but I think Shedeur is certainly. It makes you wonder what they saw in Dylan Gabriel to make him the starter from day one. I mean, was Shedeur so bad that he couldn't even get a sniff?
Well, that's the thing. So that's the first. There's so many angles of this. First of all, to me, I thought it was a tremendous game. I thought it was an excellent performance by Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, you want to say it wasn't perfect, fine. But like, who throws a perfect? Nobody plays perfect. I think if people keep bringing up, well, it's the Titans, and that's fair, but it's also the Browns. Look who he's playing with. And I thought he lifted the play of the pass catchers in this game. The Browns great defense played like crap in this game. Their special teams always stink.
Oh, so bad.
Right? It couldn't run the ball. I mean, they could not run the ball. He was the only one that had any success rushing. And so you rely on the defense. They were not there. The special team stinks. The running game was non-existent. So he had to do it all. And, yeah, there was a stretch of the game in the third quarter into the early fourth quarter where there wasn't much going on offensively, and he threw that pick, and then Dylan Sampson fumbled. But he overcame that and led them to 2 scoring drives in the final 5 minutes. And so I look at, for weeks, now the Browns didn't say this publicly, but they were putting it out there that Shedeur Sanders wasn't ready. Well, Shedeur Sanders has clearly looked more ready than Dylan Gabriel ever looked. Dylan Gabriel didn't play a game anywhere close to this when he was playing.
And look, maybe Shedeur is street balling this a little bit, because maybe Dylan gave them more of an impression that he was more prepared or had a better grasp of the offense. But in terms of the talent, like, it's not even close.
No.
It's not even close.
No, I don't. And that's just so baffling. And how Kevin Stefanski didn't see that, I think ultimately is going to lead to him losing his job. I think that's part of it. I mean, the fact that they're going to probably just win 3 games again this year, maybe they'll win 1 more. Who knows? And certainly his decision to not have Shedeur on the field, even though had they ran that play correctly, they probably would have scored that second 2-point conversion. Quentin John Judkins, I think, just had a brain fart on that play. But it just looks bad. And there looks to be, you had where they failed to call the timeout last week when Harold Fannin was going to take the direct snap. And there's, now that Kevin Stefanski is the head coach and not the play caller, he's got to be even more on top of these other things. And it just doesn't seem like he has been. But I don't know how anybody could have thought Dylan Gabriel was a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. Talent-wise, as you said, it's not even close. And there are some guys, Dustin, I know we've talked about this. There are some guys that, maybe they're not as good at practice. Like they don't look as sharp in practice, or And guys are
Some
different.
guys are just gamers, man.
Yeah, and he's a gamer. I think that's what it is. And the whole process with him, it's like he's different than a lot of other quarterbacks. He's got a different personality than a lot of quarterbacks. But you know what? Great players come in all shapes and sizes. It doesn't have to be everybody fits this same mold. And I definitely want to see more. I think at this point, you got to be optimistic. There's at least a chance he's going to be their quarterback. And in a perfect world, like if he plays well down the stretch, and it doesn't mean he has to throw for 360 yards each game, but if he plays well and looks like a legitimate starting quarterback, at the very least, you don't have to force it with a quarterback next year.
Yeah.
You could use your high picks on where you are desperately in need at wide receiver and offensive line. You could, in theory, give Shedeur Sanders next year. Maybe he runs with it. Even if he doesn't, then okay, you draft a quarterback the following year. But based on what I've seen so far, I want to see the runway this year. And if it's good the rest of this year, I want to see it again next year probably. And Fernando Mendoza, for what it's worth in that game, I thought he played, he was good after the first quarter. But I didn't see anything there that was like the Browns have to trade up to get this guy.
No, they scored 13 points.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State's defense is really good. Don't get me wrong.
Unbelievable.
But Mendoza, I don't know. Everyone compares him to like Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins. Those comparisons come up all the time.
Yeah.
Those guys have been very successful in the NFL. Goff is a quarterback that has proven that he can play at a high level, even in the postseason. And who knows if he'll get over the hump to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. But he's been there. He's been to an NFC title game. Probably should have been to another Super Bowl. But nonetheless, we'll see what happens with Mendoza. Back to Shedeur. I think it's definitely encouraging that he has a chance to at least, because I didn't think he had a chance to go into next season as the starter and maybe take a little bit of pressure off of whoever's picking for the Browns to maybe not have to go and reach for a quarterback with the top pick because you just don't have an answer. And so you're just taking whoever is, the consensus best player in the draft at the quarterback position. I think it would be fantastic if he shows signs of being the franchise quarterback. And then all of a sudden next year, you are able to add pieces to help him. Because right now, what they're putting out there is, in terms of the rest of the league, there's some talent. But, Jerry Jeudy's your top wide receiver. Fannin looks like he could become a good player, and Judkins is a good back. But these are young guys.
Yeah.
Jeudy's not a number one on a playoff caliber team. And Fannin and Judkins are rookies with your quarterback.
Right,
so those guys are only going to get better. Yeah. But man, can you imagine if you were able to add a left tackle, or a guard in the second round or something like that to protect this guy, because obviously he still holds onto the ball way too long, but has clearly showed a lot of good signs. And the number one thing that I think is great is that we're playing football in December. The dude just threw for damn near 400 yards in December.
Yes.
And it wasn't an unseasonably warm day, by the way. It was snowing.
Yeah, 100%.
So that says a lot about the kid. Now, it doesn't matter because you're going to build a dome in a couple of years, but you know what I mean? For now,